Hello everyone, this is Shiraz Ahmad Khan, your host. Viewers, today is our last video in connection with the table creation. And today, along with learning few more things regarding the tables, I'll try to complete few more options which were intentionally skipped during the last few videos. So today's lecture is divided into two different segments. During the first segment, we'll learn about the first 4 points which are shown on your screen: text direction, AutoFit to contents, insert table using the second method, and there is the third method also, that is what we call is draw table. And the second segment is a bit mathematical, and we'll discuss it during the second half of the video, that is how to sort data. So in order to take start, during the first half of this video, we need a blank document in Microsoft Word. So let's start MS Word and let's open a blank document in Microsoft Word. Once the blank document is opened, because we learned that how to insert a table in Microsoft Word using the Insert tab, the second tab from the left side in Microsoft Word, and then we learned to click this drop down arrow of table option in the tables group. If you click this drop down arrow, it will pop down a window, and we learned how to insert table by using these black boxes. So today we are going to start our lecture from the second method of inserting table, that is just under these boxes, and this is what we call it, insert table. If you click this option, it will show us a dialog box with the caption insert table. Actually, we are going to insert the table using the second method. And let me tell you that this method is more popular as compared to the first method because of certain reasons. And I'll share those reasons with you as well during this video. So first of all, as we all know that table is basically combination of columns and rows. So this dialog box is divided into different frames, and the first frame, it's demanding from us that how many columns do we want to have or need to have in our table, and how many rows do we need to have in our table. So for example, you can increase or decrease the number of columns by using these arrows. Likewise for the rows, or you can click inside the number of columns, remove this value with the help of backspace, and type another value of your choice. For example, if we want to have a table with 3 columns and say 5 rows, then you can straight away type these values in between these boxes, or you can increase or decrease the number of rows and number of columns by using these arrows. The second frame of this window, this is more important than the first frame. The reason is, this is basically the AutoFit behavior. Before we choose any option from the three given options, let's understand that what do we mean by AutoFit behavior. Because AutoFit actually means that we are directing MS Word to adjust the width of the column according to the contents, the data or the text inside that particular cell. AutoFit means that we direct or command at Microsoft Word that the width of the column should be changed, either increased or decreased according to the contents inside that particular column. And this target can be achieved by choosing the or by clicking the second button. Fixed column width means that we are directing word that we want to have a table in which all the columns, irrespective of the number of columns, all the columns should be of equal width. And the third choice means auto fit to window means that auto fit to the size of this whole page, and this behavior is identical to this fixed column width. Technically speaking, most of the times the recommendation is to go for the second button, that is auto fit to contents. This is actually what we want, or what we need is to adjust the width of the column according to the data inside that particular column. I'll try to show you the difference between these three options in this video. For the time being, we are choosing the second one, auto fit to contents, and finally click the OK button. So here we have a table with the 3 columns and 5 rows, but it's totally different from the table that we created through insert table and these boxes. Look, in the case of when we chose these boxes, we saw a table that was expanded over the width of the page. But now we can observe that now the boxes, they are of equal size, but they are much smaller. Their width is much smaller. But now let's see the impact of the option auto fit to contents. Start typing anything inside it and you will observe that automatically the width of the whole column, by whole column we mean this, the width of the whole column, all the cells in this particular column, it's automatically increased according to the value, the maximum value, the lengthiest, the largest value inside this column. Similarly, let's type another value here, and now you can see that this column, its width is much larger than the width of this column. The reason is because we chose auto fit to contents. Similarly, we can type another value here, and you can see again that the width of this column, it's different, it's much more than the width of this column. One more thing I would like to highlight here is that under these columns you can have lengthier or shorter values as compared to this caption grade of student. So let's see their impact. For example, in the name of student, if we type Ali, it won't do anything. You won't feel any change. Nothing is happening. The reason is because the maximum width of the column, it's already set. Now let's type another value. Look, now the width of the column is more increased. The reason is by auto fit to contents, we actually mean that we are directing Excel that go through this whole column, go through all the cells of this column and find the lengthiest value from this column and set the width of this whole column according to that, the width of that lengthiest value, so that it should be visible. So technically, as I recommended or mentioned or suggested earlier, that we should always create the table by choosing this option, insert table option, and we should always choose auto fit to contents. And once the things are done, rest of the things can be managed in a much easier way. You can center align it, you can left align, whatever you want to perform onto this table, you can perform. Rest of the things remain the same, except that you need not to have worries regarding the width of the contents of the cells, because we have already chosen auto fit to contents. So this was the first point in today's video. Second point is much easier, that is the direction of the text. And in order to see the impact, once again, let's increase the height and width of these cells. And now let's see the impact of text direction. Currently, the cursor is inside this, the third row and its second column. And now let's see the impact of text direction. And for that purpose, once again, we are to go to the Layout tab and look at this text direction option. It says change the direction within the selected cells. So currently no cell is selected, but the cursor inside the cell means that the control is inside that particular cell. Click this and look, the direction of the contents of that particular cell are changed. Similarly, you can come back to the original one this way. You can select more cells and you can choose the direction of the cell again. So although we do not use it frequently, but we should at least know that we are able to change the direction of the text inside the cell. So let's proceed further. Up till now we have learned three different things: how to insert table using second method, what is AutoFit to contents, and third thing is how to change the direction of the contents of the cells. The fourth option in today's video, it's regarding the creation of the table using the third method. So let's see that. Again, go to the one more thing, viewers. This is a very common mistake, that in order to have two tables in a document, or in order to have more than one tables, this is a very common mistake that users, they forget to place the cursor outside the table. They think that the mouse pointer is outside, so it means the table will be created at that point. No, you'll have to place the cursor outside the table before or after it to insert new table. It is a very common mistake. Sometimes the users, they forget it. And suppose if the cursor is here and you go to the table and you will try to insert another table, look, this table is inserted inside the cells, inside a single cell of the previous table, the table number 1. So let's undo it. So make sure that cursor is blinking outside the table. Before or after is your choice. So we are learning the third method of creating the table. Click the Insert tab, go to the Table option, and this is through Draw Table. We are not going to create table, we are going to draw the table. So let's see how can we draw table. Click this option and bring your mouse pointer inside the text editor. And once the pointer is brought there, you can see that it's converted from its usual shape to the pen shape or the pencil shape. Now click anywhere and look, the things are changed. Mouse left button is still clicked, and now you can drag in any direction. This is what we are doing. Actually, we are drawing the table, we are not inserting the table. And release the mouse button at any point, and look, the table is created. Similarly, you can draw the rows this way. Click and drag rightward. Similarly, you can draw the columns. Click downwards. Click downwards. Click downwards. Viewers, you might be thinking that we have already seen comparatively easier methods to insert the table, so why we are discussing it? Actually, sometimes this is our requirement or demand that we are to divide the cells into different cells. So instead of using the split option, this is a good idea to divide an individual cell into more than one cells. Like right now we have uh, in the last column, these cells are widthwise more or lengthier than these cells, so you can individually divide them. There is no need to use the split option here. Similarly, you can divide it at this point as well. Although it looks weird, it looks awkward, that why do we need to have this type of table? But as I mentioned earlier, that it although if it happens once in a blue moon, but we need sometimes off and on these options of drawing the table. So the fourth point of today's video it's discussed. So first half of the video is over and we learned four things. Let's recapitulate this first segment. We learned how to change the direction of the text inside the cells. We learned what do we mean by AutoFit to contents, why it's so useful. We learned method number two of inserting the table. We learned how to draw the table as well. So now we are ready to start the mathematical portion of this video, that is sort data. And in order to start sorting the data, I recommend you to pause the video for a while, exit MS Word and download the file, the helping file, the source file that is required for the second segment of the video. I have downloaded the file already onto the D drive in MS Word folder, and the name of the file is table 3. So open this file. In this file, you can see that we have a consolidated result sheet in front of us. So before we start, how can we sort data? We should understand it first. That what do we mean by sort? Viewers, sort means arrange, and sort data means, or sorting the data means arranging the data in a specified sequence. Currently, the sheet that is in front of you, it's not arranged in any order. It's not arranged name wise, it's not arranged marks wise, it's not arranged grade wise. By sorting, we mean that we want to arrange the data in a specified sequence. We want to put it into a specified order. The order could be on the basis of name, it could be according to the marks, it could be according to the grades. And being teacher, we know, and even in our daily lives, we see that when we receive results or when we produce results, we, after the manipulation of the data, we compile the results in a way so that the people they can easily understand that who is on the top, who is at the bottom point, who is in the middle. So always the data is presented, the mathematical data in particular, it's presented in a way so that the people they can easily understand that who is topping, who is at the bottom point, who is in the middle, who is average, who is above average, who is below average. So we need these things in our data. This is what do we call sorting. So viewers, now it's a time to learn that how can we sort data. One more thing before we start sorting, that in order to sort the data, we'll have to, or we can select the range of the data, that which columns do we want to sort. So in that case, in our case, we shouldn't select this consolidated result sheet, the main label of the table. So because it's not part of the data, and moreover it's a merged cell, so do not select the whole table with the help of table handler in this particular case, but in your case it could be different. So let's select this whole data, And sorting option is available in the layout tab, and in the data group or section, we have the sort option. Click this and let's understand this dialog box. There are three levels of sorting, but before jumping into the details of these three levels, I'm just straight away discussing the My List Has option. My List Has header row or no header row. What does it mean? Header row means that the data that is selected by us, it has a row that contains the labels of the columns. Viewers, this name, marks out of 10, and the grade. These three are the labels of these three columns. The values, the actual data is under these labels. And in some of the cases, it depends that you are selecting the data and there are no headers at all in that case. So the default option is no header row, but in our case, we have a header row. So go for header row and you can see its impact. If you choose no header row, you can see these three drop-down lists. Column 3, column 1, column 2 is written. And if you click header row, automatically they are changed by Microsoft Word to the three levels by grade, by marks of 10, marks out of 10, and by the name. So now let's discuss these one by one. Actually, what is our requirement in this particular scenario? Our requirement is that we want to see those students on the top who are getting the highest grade. One thing. So let's set this. Sort by, choose grade from it. What is the type of this column? You can easily see that in the grades column, we have alphabets only. So this is when you have alphabets only with special symbols. If you have pure numbers, then we call it number. You can have dates or you can have the text. So in the case of grade, that is only the textual data. So go for the text that is already by default chosen. Next, we have ascending and descending. By ascending, we mean you can understand it that ascending means from A to Z and from 0 to 9 for numbers. So what do we want? Actually, we want to see the students who are getting the highest grades, they should be onto the top. So the student with A star should be onto the top, A below and B below the A. So choose ascending, that is once again by default selected. So the first level or the first criteria is discussed. What do we mean by this then by? Viewers, we know that practically you can have more than one students who are getting the same grade. So what Microsoft Word or how Microsoft Word should deal with those students or what it should do with those students who are getting the same grade. Actually, what do we want? That first of all, we direct Microsoft Word that try to arrange the data in a sequence that the students who are getting the highest grades, they should be onto the top. And if more than one students, they are getting the same grade, then arrange them according to the marks and who is getting the highest grade and highest mark should be onto the top of the list. So let's see how can we do this. Then by marks out of, we should choose different field or different label for that. Marks out of 10, this is its type is, you can see that all of these are numbers. So by default, Microsoft has chosen number for you. And the sequence, now we are choosing descending. Now let's summarize the first two criteria for our table. Both of these, when you combine them together, it means that Microsoft Word will arrange them into a sequence that those who are getting the highest grades, they will be on the top. And if Microsoft Word finds more than one students with the same grade, it will try to put that student onto the top of those students who are having the same grade whose marks are the highest one. Now let's move to the third level, then by. Then by, we are choosing name. Name, what inside the name? All of these are textual data. So choose text, that is already chosen, and choose ascending. Now let's completely discuss all of these criteria together. Now this whole screen dialog box means that arrange the data according to the grades. The one who is getting the highest grade should be on the top. And if two or more than two students they are getting the same grade, then arrange those students only whose grades are equal, arrange them in a sequence that from them the one who is getting the highest mark should be onto the top. Similarly, if more than one students they have the same grade and the same marks, then arrange them according to the name, and whose name is starting from the small letters, like B will be below A, D will be below B. So this is the meaning, the summary, the gist of the whole discussion is. Now let's see the OK button. But before doing that, let's see this. Asif on top, Raja under it, Ali, Muhammad, Khan, and Ahmed. And now finally click OK button, and let's see the impact of choosing these options. Now, Microsoft Word puts the data into according to the grades. Those who are getting the highest grades, they are on the top. Microsoft Word found 4 students with the same grade, that is A-static. Then Microsoft Word tried to put the one from these 4, out of these 4, who got the highest marks on the top. So the one who is getting the 10 marks, he's on the top. Once again, Microsoft found 3 cases with the same grade and with the same marks. Now they are arranged. Only these 3 cases are arranged according to the name, and the name with starting with the small letters, it's on the top because we chose ascending order for the third level. Let's apply this formula here. Microsoft Word found 2 B grades, and Microsoft Word tried to arrange them according to the one who got the highest marks from these 2 onto the top. Microsoft Word found another thing, that they are getting the same grades and the same marks. So Microsoft Word arranged them according to their marks then, according to their names then. So viewers, this is all about sorting the data. So I hope that I know that this video it's a bit lengthier, or I must say the lengthiest one of the whole course, but I tried to explain everything regarding the tables, and today the topic of tables it's almost completed. But before leaving, let's quickly see all the options regarding the tables. In the design tab, we have styles, we have shading, we have border styles, we have border painter. In the layout tab, from the left side, you can select the whole table with the help of this. You can hide or unhide the grid lines. You can open the properties of the table. You can draw table. You can erase anything. You can delete the whole table, rows, columns, cells. You can insert rows above, insert rows below, insert columns left, insert columns right. They all are discussed but in a different way. So they all are available in the layout tab as well. You can split a single cell into more than one cells. You can merge more cells together. You can split the whole table into 2 parts. Auto fit to contents again is there. Height of the rows, width of the columns, alignment options for the table, direction of the text inside the particular cell or more than one cells, and finally we discussed sort option. One last thing is that even if the table is created by using any method, at any stage, you can choose the option auto fit to contents anytime. Let's experiment it here. Let's expand these cells and now click the table handler, go to the auto fit and auto fit to contents. Look, the width of the cells is automatically adjusted. The point that I wanted to share with you is that even if the table is created by using any method and you feel that it's expanding over the width of the page unnecessarily, and to beautify it, to give it a more niche look, you can adjust the width of the columns of the table anytime. Viewers, hope that hopefully this lecture or the video will help you in working with the tables. Do not forget to subscribe the channel and do not forget to like this video. Goodbye.